half cut episode for a half baked film. We'll see you in there, guys.
We'll see you in there, guys. Yeah, come on in. Thank you so much. While the audience gets seated, guys, let me just say a little joke for the room. Knock, knock.
Who's there, David?
Bloody you are. Come on in, folks.
You are. Come on in, folks. Who?
Oh, no, that... Just cut to the episode. Just cut. Welcome to Survive the Fright.
Embarrassing.
So they can't all be home runs. Sometimes you're gonna bunce it, James.
Cut to the intro.
Welcome to Survive the Fright. This week we are talking about Scream 3, filmed in 2000, directed again by Wes Craven, written by Kevin Williamson, and Aaron Kruger, starring some familiar faces: David Arquette, Neve Campbell, Courtney Cox, Liev Schreiber, Kelly Rutherford, and Patrick Dempsey. Mr. McDreamy himself, James. This film is a star-studded cast, let me tell you that for free. A big concern of mine, I don't want to foreground anything too much, a big concern of mine this week is I'm not sure there's a way out of this one, gang.
Oh,
this might be, because I agree. Obviously, you didn't see any of this stuff before I did the intro. I agree. This film, a little half baked, but also I think the plot contrivance of gadget that makes you sound like anybody. I'm concerned that will get me every time because I'm incredibly gullible.
Oh no!
So we'll get there when we get there.
Wow.
Now, do you want to do your little child's game before we do the show, or what do we do?
I think we do high level game
segments. So high level, you said half baked. Scream 3. This is obviously the third in the trilogy. The film makes a big deal about that because, of course, it's a film talking about films. I gather this one was sort of where some people started to turn on it. I did some sort of cursory research of the critical reception. What's your vibe on this? What was it like coming back to it? Did it spark old memories, and how did it hit you?
Scream 3 almost immediately made me remember why it is that out of all of the Scream films, this is the only one that I haven't rewatched.
Interesting.
So by the end of it, it's sort of like, well, yeah, that tracks.
Oh, because nothing happens?
Well, and because high level, it didn't have an in for the audience. Like Scream 1 and 2, we have the friends plus Dewey and Gale. And this one, we only had Dewey and Gale. We didn't spend any time with the the stab actors. We didn't really have a connection with them. They were just kill fodder. You know, they needed bodies to kill.
Sid's in the country for 45 minutes of this film.
Yeah, this is also the worst intro of all three so far. And all in all, if I had to sort of sum it up, I would say painfully goofy.
Interesting. I think I agree that this is the schlockiest and goofiest. I don't think, and time lapse of my entire footage, go. I don't think I jumped once. Maybe I jumped once when I was watching this. My high level note here is Scream 3 is probably one of the more interesting written films, but probably the worst one to watch.
What?
Yeah. It's really bad to watch, and it's not a good film, but I think the writing is trying to do a bunch of things, and none of them end up working.
But how is that more interesting?
Because I'm broken,
Hey guys,
James.
Just wanted to say, these other two, loved those, but I love this one more, and I'll tell you why. It had more failures in it. What are you saying?
Well, James. The entirety of Zero Indent is an exercise in me trying to justify why I find things not working more interesting than why I find good things interesting.
So you set out on a crusade to attack the internet with your absolutely insane opinions and takes on things. Everyone else having a general consensus on something, or got divisive there at a time, but we came out on top, and now we agree to this thing. And then David comes up and says, can I put my hat in the ring, please? I'd like to say every single one of you's a fucking dumb cunt dipshits, and you're wrong.
Yes, brother.
Yeah.
Yes, brother. And I tell you what, they pop off in the comments, man. They be writing me essays. Let's be real.
Okay.
So I guess what I'm saying is I've been doing this for too long.
For sure.
And so when I see something not working, I'm like, ooh, that's a plate of pudding to me. You know what I mean?
Yeah, shit. It's shit. It's interesting that you conflated it with pudding.
Oh, are you... yeah, that's a good point. Pudding isn't good. Although, I don't really like sweets in general. I will say I'd take a cake over a pudding, but I'd take dessert order. I'd go...
David, the game's so nice. We've done it twice now. This is the second time. This is Film or Fake, where David, obviously being a seasoned veteran of the horror genre, particularly when it comes to horror films, he can talk endlessly about the Hammer horror films because he's from England. It's a whole big thing. You know, he really gets deep on it.
I am English, yeah.
If you don't know the game, we have 3 movie titles. 2 of them are real horror films. One of them is fake. It's invented in my mind's eye.
In the mind palace of James.
Now, the first time we did this, I went a little too light because I thought David needed like training wheels on that sort of segment the first time we did it. And he didn't. The cunt did a backflip on a BMX bike like day one. You know what I mean? Like,
I kicked your teeth in, yeah.
Okay, first 3 films. We've got no...
Are you going to paste...
There's no categories anymore. Okay?
Okay, no category. That is going to fuck me up. Are you going to paste them in the chat again for me?
I am going to paste them to you. Okay.
Okay. I'm doing hands above keyboard. Oh, this is already cruel and unusual.
The 3 films are Don't Go in the Closet, Don't Go in the House, Don't Go Near the Park. Had to ramp up the difficulty just a little bit this week.
A little bit? You turned the dial to 15.
Whoa.
None of these sound like films.
Whoa, we were at a 3. I maybe went to a 5, you know?
This is insane. Don't go in the closet. Don't go in the house. Don't go near the car park. Oh, yeah. The periphery of the car park is also a dangerous zone. That's insane. I am already at a complete loss.
Okay.
However,
I'm
going to solve this the way I've solved all of them. Which is by knowing you, my friend, by being inside your dome, inside your knob.
Here we go. Yes.
Because here's the thing. One of 2 things has either happened. Okay. James has found films that start with Don't Go and it's a franchise. And what he's either done is he's gone, 2 of the films start with Don't Go and they're sequels, so they're related or they're by the same director or something like that. So Don't Go in the Closet, Don't Go in the House. Or, and if that's the case, he's gone, well, I'll throw in a curveball, Don't Go Near the Park, which he won't pick because he'll think it's a misdirect and that the Don't Go series is what it's, that's the franchise, that's the genre. And so I'll pick Don't Go Near the Park and that will be incorrect because one of the Don't Go's is made up. Or the inverse is true, which is the kind of 2 Don't Go's is to throw me off because you said there were no categories, but this is clearly a fucking category. You fucking animal. This is a category.
I don't know if it's a category. And that's the category title.
You should have said I don't go if it's a category, James. It's an easy joke. It's an easy joke. I think Don't Go in the Closet is fake.
You think Don't Go in the Closet is...
I think Don't Go in the Closet is fake. And I have negative 100 confidence in that. None of these seem real to me.
Okay.
If I was betting, if I was a betting man, if I was a gambler, if I was a gambling man, I would bet that none of these are real, but I think Don't Go in the Closet is the fake one.
Don't Go in the Closet is the fake one. David, this is why I like playing this game with you, because
pure luck.
Everyone that you play against, anyone that you watching this play a game against, you're versing like the game. David's playing 4D chess. He's outside of the game. And he's looking at the game of the game, and it's a very interesting process. Sort of like the closest thing you'll get to sort of touching the mind of a psychopath, but in a safe sort of environment.
Oh, we go for psychopath, not Sherlock Holmes, you prick.
Definitely not. David, 1 for 1 on that one. Okay. Can he keep it up? We have 3 more to go.
I don't think so, but go on.
All right. Our next category. There are no categories. Okay. The next 3 films are The Unseen, The Unheard, The Unnoticed.
The Unheard is fake.
You're just going off the rip, off the gut feeling.
The unheard is fake.
This guy has gone, you've gone 6 for 6 so far. The 4 from the last game.
He's trying to fake me out.
Plus the bonus, right? So 5. And the first of this round, you're on 6. You're going.
Actually,
for number 7, we're locking in.
Let me do my litmus test and see if I change my mind.
Okay.
I'm gonna cover my eyes and I'm gonna look at them.
Jeez,
and see which one I think
thankfully one of us is playing with our fucking heads here, right? He was just about to gut shot it into the 7th. 7 for 7 he has on the line here. Okay, and he was gonna whip that away on a gut shot. That's crazy. Again, touching the mind of a psychopath. Okay.
I don't like how in my head you are. Okay. 3, 2, 1. Now I think it's the unnoticed.
Ooh, he's starting to second guess himself. Okay.
You know what? First guess, best guess. I think it's the unheard. Again, I have 0 confidence. 0 confidence.
David? Wait. Sorry about doxing you.
Can you bleep my middle name?
Of course. I'm not insane. Of course.
And then can you maybe replace my last name is public, but like maybe replace it with like
I'll reverse it. You'll only get the first name. Okay. David, can he go 7 for 7 here on a gut shot?
It sounds like no.
He is locking in the unheard, and the unheard is incorrect. Our first incorrect answer on film or fake.
The unnoticed was the fake one, right?
The unnoticed was the fake one, yes. He felt it. He felt it at the end there, you know? He wanted to come back from the gut shot. I even tried to save him.
I knew at the end. I knew it. And you know what it was? It's too much of a compound word. Unseen, unheard, unnoticed. Like it's too complicated of a noun. Like, and that, you know what, James? You know what that proves?
What's that?
I'm a fucking idiot.
Oh, okay. Well, he took that time.
Wasn't a complicated takeaway.
Say something negative about himself. Okay. Positive self-talk is important, everyone. So just keep that up. David, the next one. We're just going straight into it. 3 films: The Watcher, The Stalker, The Caller.
Just notice, listener. James said there were no categories, and all of these clearly fit into their own categories. So that's interesting to think about.
Interesting. Again, touching the mind, you know, seeing patterns where there aren't patterns.
The Watcher feels real. The Stalker feels lazy enough to be real. And The Caller feels like James trying to trick me because we're watching a film about people calling people on phones.
Oh.
I think The Caller's fake.
Again, he's peeling it apart so surgically. We're locking in The Caller.
If I'd done that with the previous one, I would have got it right. I was trying to, keep the energy up. I fucked myself.
Well, David, you have not been able to redeem yourself this time. The Caller is a real film. The fake film was The Stalker, not a real film.
Interesting. I said it felt lazy, and so that checks out for you, I guess.
Oh, wow. Saw the C. Okay. All right.
That's the T, sis.
Our final one for our second round of...
I no longer have any confidence in myself, by the way. Just,
The Haunting in Connecticut.
Fuck off.
The Possession in Salem. The Exorcism in Amarillo.
Hey, James, just for you and me, why are the second words not capitalized? Like, what happened? Is that...
I wrote it in like that.
Okay, you did that on purpose?
I did, yeah.
But you capitalized the locations.
Yeah.
Wait, okay. What? If you're not watching the video, go watch the video. You're missing out. James puts the things on the screen when he does this, and he's gonna do this just to spite me. He's gonna put them in lowercase, just to be annoying, just to frustrate me, because film title should be all in caps and technically italicized in academia. Now, I think that The Haunting in Connecticut is the least scary title of any film I've ever heard, because Connecticut is it makes me think, in The Simpsons, that episode where they like want to build the monorail. That has Connecticut energy to me.
Okay, like a flyover state type of vibe. Okay.
Possession in Salem's Lot. Stephen King. We've been talking a lot about Salem's Lot recently in our text messages. The Exorcism in Amarillo, however, the Exorcism in Amarillo sounds like an indie band to me.
Okay, yeah, I get that. Yep, I see that.
Now, again, I have absolutely no idea. The Haunting in Connecticut sounds doofy. The Possession in Salem feels like the red herring because Salem is a haunted place. And if you were going to film a film, you'd film it and you'd set it in Salem because Salem is haunted. And also because of Stephen King's Salem's Lot. No free rides. Don't buy that book. But The Exorcism in Amarillo feels... I made this mistake last time where I was like, well, that seems too dumb. It must be real. That was the mistake I made with Stalker. But now I'm letting my past choices influence my current. I think James wouldn't have written The Possession in Salem because he looked surprised when I brought it up. I think The Haunting in Connecticut... Let me rephrase. I want The Haunting in Connecticut to be fake.
Okay. I'm just noticing, one, there was a bit of a rant before he got into sort of like his thinking into this, which again, grazing the mind of you get it. And also, what I find interesting is that I'm watching David. He's clearly he's focusing intensely at something on the screen. And at first I thought it was the titles of the films, but based on an answer he just gave there, I'm wondering if it's just full 1920 by 1080 my face, and he's just looking into my eyes trying to read which one is the fake answer.
No, I just pay attention to you because you're my friend and I'm caring. And it's weird that you'd react that way.
Whoa.
Telling about you and your behavior. So
defensive, guys. Seems defensive.
Telling.
Okay.
It seems defensive. You're the one that found it surprising. I care about what you're doing and how you're behaving. I care about you. If anything, well, now it sounds defensive. I see what you're saying.
Yeah, now it sounds defensive. Yeah.
Now, yeah.
Now it didn't before. Yeah, for sure.
I think it's Haunting in Connecticut. Haunting in Connecticut. Lock it in, Eddie. Haunting in Connecticut. What is Haunting in Connecticut, Eddie? Lock it in.
David, for the final question to close out our second round of fake or film or fake, whatever it's called. The Haunting in Connecticut, David is saying, is the faker. That is incorrect.
Yeah.
The fake film, hidden in plain sight, The Possession in Salem.
Fuck. Let me just say to my fans and to people who came out to see me, expecting the performance that I normally put out. I think that I've disappointed you. I was raised to do better. And I'd like to say to you, the fans, I apologize. My behavior was incorrect.
Yeah.
And I'll do better in the future.
Willie.
And I'd also like to say, doing this at the start of the podcast completely throws off my energy for the rest of it. Last episode, it made me complacent. Okay. I was on top of the world. I was riding high.
Yeah.
I wasn't contributing as much as I normally do.
Yeah.
This episode, I've been humbled in front of you, in front of James, in front of the eyes of God, in front of the eyes of Muhammad, in front of the eyes of whatever deity you pray to. I apologize. I'm going to do better this week, and I'm going to bring the heat, James, this week, because it's time for our segment. No, it's not. It's time for the summary, and then we'll do segments. If you can cut that to make because it felt like I was going. If you can.
And now we cut live to a poltergeist on camera. Hey guys.
Yeah.
So this week's movie is Scream.
It's me, Jared.
Yeah.
James, we're gonna talk about Scream, and you're gonna make that cut seamless so that my ramp up made. Because I forgot I hadn't done the summary yet. Because I only did that first. Anyway.
Definitely.
Let's strap in. We're gonna talk about Scream 3. I'm gonna try and bury my loss, and I'm gonna try and make up for it with the energy I'm gonna bring to the rest of the show. And maybe that's the secret. Maybe the secret to me being a good podcaster is being humbled at the start of the episode.
True.
What's my score overall, though? What's like my overall hit rate?
Right now, you are currently movie title game. We had 5 last round. We had 4 this round. You are 6 for 10.
Ooh, that's not great. That's not great. That's a passing grade, isn't it? But I did sweep the first one, so we'll see. We'll see how we shake out overall. Let's talk about Scream 3. So it's time for the summary. And before I get into the summary, a quick content warning. This film, and part of our discussion, we'll try and keep that part of the discussion limited, is unusually focused on sexual assault and rape and the consequences of that more than the other films. If that's something you'd rather not hear, please use the time codes to move around to avoid that. If that's something you'd rather not hear, it's obviously prevalent in horror. But in this film in particular, it's a key plot point. We'll try and talk about it to a limited extent at the end, but just be aware of that. So, 3 years after the events of Windsor College, Cotton Weary drives home from his gig as a talk show host. He answers his cell phone and is asked that familiar question. Do you want to play a game? The caller demands Sydney's location. When Cotton does not give it up, Cotton and his girlfriend are slain in a beachside California flat, prompting an investigation by Detective Kincaid McDreamy himself. Kincaid brings Gail Weathers to Hollywood, hoping her insights from her new book about the Windsor murders might help. As it transpires, Cotton's body is found with a photograph of Sid's mother, Maureen. In the photo, Maureen stands in the very same lot where a sequel to Stab is being filmed. Gail turns up on the set of Stab 3 only to run into none other, James. Who does she run into? Who does she run into, James?
Dewey
Riley.
Oh, yeah.
Dewey, whoa.
I don't like him.
Doofus.
I don't like him, dude.
I thought he looked fit in this film. When he first came on Scream, I think you can find in my recording, the words out of my mouth are, Dewey's kind of fit. That might just be put hair price. Doesn't matter. I just thought he looked hot. Meanwhile, Sarah Darling, a bit part actor on the film, is murdered in the production offices. The film grinds to a halt. Back at Jennifer's house, Jennifer, the actress playing Gail, Dewey, the real Gail, and Tom try to flee as the killer strikes again, slaying Jennifer's bodyguard before blowing her house to pieces. Tom is eviscerated in the explosion. Elsewhere, Sid lives off the grid, using an alias to work as a crisis counselor for women. Sid receives a call, impossibly, from her mother, the deceased Maureen Prescott. Detective Kincaid pressures Dewey to call Sid and bring her in to help. After much resistance, Dewey relents, but seconds later, Sid arrives, drawn by her mother's apparent resurrection by the killer. Martha, Randy's sister, appears with a posthumous videotape from Randy. This time all about third films in trilogies. Randy warns that the rules don't apply anymore. The past cannot be trusted. Anyone could die. Anyone, James. Even us. That night, Sid finds herself on the set of Stab. She climbs the stairs of her childhood home, remembered through fogged-over glass. Her home from a universe where things were the same, save for the small details. The kitchen is slightly too long. The stairs are just the wrong angle. But her room is identical. Down to the very same closet door she used to defend herself so long ago. The Creed poster on the wall. Sid is attacked by a figure in the Reaper costume. The past and the present collide, but she fights back, escaping as Detective Kincaid and Dewey arrive. Sid, making sense for once, heads back to the police station to wait out the night. Elsewhere, Dewey, Jennifer, Gail, Angelina, and Tyson head to the director Roman's house for his birthday party. Well, birthday commiseration, more like his career is over. Who wants to work with the director if his cast ends up in body bags? At Roman's house, a number of things occur in short order. 1. Angelina, Tyson, and Jennifer are murdered in dramatic fashion in different scenes. 2. Gail and Dewey are captured. 3. The killer calls Sid, demands she turn up or it's lights out for our favorite power couple, Gail and Dewey. Sid arrives, intent on fighting the killer, and fight she does. She manages to surprise the killer with a hidden gun, but it seems that Randy was right. The killer is supernatural, unfazed by the bullet holes. Detective Kincaid arrives too and is knocked out kind of immediately, like a wet fish. Sid fights the killer deeper into the house. The killer reveals himself to be Stab 3's director, Roman Bridger, and indeed Sydney's half-brother. Apparently, Sid's mother was raped during her time in Hollywood and gave birth to Roman. Roman claims that Sid rejected him 4 years ago, prompting the beginning of his stalking and killing, and indeed, Roman reveals that he showed Billy and Stu footage of Maureen's assault, prompting their obsession and ultimately their desire to kill Sid and Sid's mother setting into motion the prior two films. It seems that Randy was right again. The past is not to be trusted. After some back and forth, Sidney stabs Roman a bunch. In true Scream fashion, Dewey and Gale arrived, and Roman does the big rah and rises again, only to be headshot by Dewey eventually. As Roman dies, Sid takes his hand, a final moment of compassion for her half-brother. Much later, Dewey proposes to Gale at Sid's property. Gale says yes. Sid walks up the road, appearing unbothered with her dog, her traps and locks and defenses gone, the weight of the world no longer bearing down upon her. She, Kincaid, Dewey, and Gale step inside to watch a film, and the door blows open as Sid lingers in the kitchen. But Sid leaves it open. It seems for once Sid is at peace, finally. Or is it? Dun dun dun.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a big film. James, it's time for segments. What's the name of the first segment, James?
General admission.
Whoa, that's so true, James. I'm so glad you said that. You're so smart, my friend. That's so true. General admission is a segment where of the show we talk about how the film hit and whether we were shaking in our seats, whether it scared us. I don't think I was scared once.
Well, let's start at the beginning. The intros.
Let's begin at the start.
The intros are famous in Scream, okay?
Yeah, the first film, you get the call.
The second one.
The second, also number 2.
Number 2 does it.
Now,
and then we fumble the bag in 3.
So, now, the whole reason they work, and we go watch the previous 2 episodes. Go watch them if you haven't already. Go listen to them. The whole reason they work is that you're in a confined location where you can't escape from this killer, and that even escaping doesn't do you any good, right? That's the whole thing that makes Scream scary. This film starts with Cotton Weary driving in his automobile back to his home, and he gets the call from the killer. Now, I don't know about you, James, but I would describe automobiles in general as not confined spaces that can take you largely anywhere.
Yeah, not very scary when someone calls you while you're cruising down the freeway. I'm gonna get ya. Well, not right now, you're not, because I'm pretty safe.
I'm driving to my dad's place. I'm at the Gold Coast right now, brother.
Can I just say, like, this is the first movie where they changed the voice changer, and now you can't trust what you hear in Scream 3, which, by the way, crazy tech to have at the time.
It's so early that they have this little device that you can just play anyone's voice.
David, you've got Maureen Prescott's voice in your voice changer. Fucking how?
AI can't even do it now. And the AI bros are like, it's the future. It can't even do it now. We don't even have that now.
I have fed David's voice into AI, hours of it, okay? And it still gives him this weird American accent, okay? And if he called me, and David, can you do your voice, but just an American accent?
Are we going to go to the fair later, or are you going to be busy?
You wouldn't
get me.
Can you make me
a fucked up...
You wouldn't get me.
You would. Also, you wouldn't pick up my phone call.
It's true.
It's kind of a fictitious scenario.
Text back, what?
Why are you calling?
PLZ text.
I think if I called you on the phone, one of 2 things are true. It's a bit or it's an emergency. And I think in both cases you pick up.
I think, it's the weakest intro for me. He gets back.
Home.
Oh, I'm here to save you, but you're the villain. But I'm not the villain. But there's the villain. Oh my god. The villain,
but then also my girlfriend's hot, and we're gonna objectify women again. And then maybe Cotton. Also, we get the intimation that Cotton maybe does stab games in the bedroom, because his girlfriend's like, Cotton, don't be doing this again. I know it gets you all horned up. You know what I mean? There's sort of this. David,
we cannot get into it for this episode, but I think after you've done a bit of research and we regroup at the beginning of the next episode, I think we talk about the fetishization of Ghostface in social media. You're not really prepared for what you're going to see, So we will learn over the weekend. We will come back next week and we will discuss why are all of these couples buying, Scream masks and dressing up and playing kill fuck. It's a whole weird thing. So, we'll learn about things next week. Exciting.
Oh, buddy.
Process that.
Just processing.
I think that this film in general doesn't entirely work for me. Maybe because it wasn't the story they wanted to tell. Bum, bum, bum. The original Scream 3 script was supposedly Stu, one of the killers from the first movie, was originally meant to be the killer in Scream 3. Because you know how Sydney pushes the TV onto his head? They were gonna do a whole, we didn't see him die type of thing.
Oh my god.
Right? And
oh my god.
The story was going to be Stu was going to be orchestrating the killings from prison using high school students to carry out his plans. But Columbine happened in 99. There was a big social backlash against violence in media, particularly involving teenagers. So they rewrote the script to shift away from high schools entirely and change who the killer was.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. That's probably good.
Yeah.
It's probably a good not that this film is good, that's probably a good change. It's probably a good change. It's probably a good one. Probably a good one. Now, James, just checking in. Columbine obviously forever changed gun control laws in America, and it meant that shootings on that scale could never happen again, right?
Ooh. That was our one. They didn't.
Fuck. They didn't. They haven't still? Ooh. Let's move on. Okay, well, scarier than the Scream movies, really, if you think about it for too long. So, because if you didn't, it seems like you get kind of a school shooting every week.
Seems like a lot. Seems like too many.
So Cotton, he puts up a fight. He gets killed. And then we cut to Sid.
Does he put up a fight though? I'm sorry, but he pulls a bookcase down on top of this cunt, right? And then he goes to, I don't know, like look over him, and the guy jostles the bookcase ever so slightly, which apparently is the spring under which Cotton Weary is birthed from.
Dude.
He gets launched to the other side of the room over a fucking desk, and then he comes over and he gets fucking stabbed or whatever. And it's like, what? What?
Let me rephrase. It's very rare that with these...
I'm going to edit that clip in with a little fucking like Mario jump sound because of how much this cunt fucking sprung.
What I appreciated... James is going to be so not on my side this whole episode. What I appreciated is that we finally saw one of these dudes attack a full-grown man, and he was able to like move this guy around. Like, was it putting up a fight? Was I like, yeah, if you attacked a man this big, he's gonna be able to like move you around. Like you don't have that. You don't have it like that, right? He's able to muscle him about a bit, and I appreciated that aspect.
And the aspect was what exactly? Just a couple of beefy boys tussling it out, duking it out, seeing who the biggest, beefiest boy was that day.
Previously, the only recourse with these killers in these costumes is you got to run real fast or put stuff in their way to get out of the way so they don't kill you. He was able to actually physically intervene, if only momentarily, to physically move this guy, and then he drops the bookshelf on him. Like, there's a way that he uses physicality in a way we haven't seen, where it always feels like people are running from him. This felt like Cotton was actually fighting back, even if he fails.
Cotton standing on business. Okay. Yes.
And yeah, exactly. So not that it works in the story, but I was like, oh, we just haven't seen that. Like, that's, one of these killers attacking an actual guy who's like, I see you and I'm fighting back and I have the physicality to do so instead of having to run and chuck stuff in your way. Yeah. That's new for the series.
Sure.
Right?
Sure. Yeah. I would have loved it if it was more of that though, less of the fucking Yoshi fucking jump that he did.
The weird gimmick shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What a dumb gripe. I just like processed what I just said, and I'm upset that he got killed weird. You know what I mean? That's what I'm upset about.
James.
Oh, yeah, I'm upset that he got killed a bit weird because it didn't really feel earned and it felt a bit silly. But it added to the overall silly goofiness of the movie, which I didn't appreciate.
Welcome, James, to podcasting about media with me, where you were hooting and hollering at the start, where you were like, this guy's a fucking idiot. He's defending it even though it's bad. And you said it's interesting. And now egg on your face because you realized that I was right. Anyway, Sid.
Why do you invent these narratives that people are talking, so perniciously about you,
Because
I hear them but great words out of this mouth about this guy.
I hear them in my head.
So you've externalized them. Okay. Well, that's a horror in and of itself, and it is the spooky season, so.
And we're not just talking about tax time, ladies and gentlemen. I just want to point out to all of the fucking CEOs out there that Sydney was working from home in the year 2000. So
true.
Fuck you and your return to office, you absolute unhinged cunts.
Yeah.
Don't make that a clip, James, because that'll ruin my career. But fuck you if you're a CEO that thinks people need to return to work to be good at their jobs, and fuck you if you think that. Reevaluate your priorities. I think my last text to you, James, before we text very rarely. My last text to you, James, last night was about Guattari Felix and the integrated world capitalist structure, and why people are wrong about money. This is not that. This is just
very
I think it's
light
silly
conversations we like to have.
It was normal.
Yeah,
it was normal. And again, we text very rarely. I like that but the crucial plot detail here is that she's working under an alias, Laura.
Right.
And so a side consequence of this is for a good chunk of my notes while I'm watching this, I'm writing Laura is off the grid.
Right. Yes.
Because my brain.
Well, that just speaks to how good the witness protection program is, because you, even knowing that all of these events are totally contrived, you still had total buy-in. So
totally. And so she's living on this big farm or this kind of plot of land in the middle of nowhere. She's got locks to high heaven, security system to high heaven.
Which, if you weren't being pursued at all times by someone with a murderous intent towards you, would be like the chillest life ever. Like, she is.
It looks so comfy.
She's living good out there. She's probably growing stuff. She's got a dog. She's got a bit of property. She's chilling inside.
She's living on a hobby farm. This is what rich CEOs do so that they can retire off the grid and be self-sustaining with all their millions of dollars. She's literally doing it.
And they know you'd be able to afford it and do it if they paid you what you were worth and let you work from home. But they don't want you to have...
Wasn't she studying
They
acting?
don't want you to have the farm. Okay? Yes, she was.
How can she... I guess the 2000s were a different era. That was back when they paid artists.
And also, it came in handy because, she plays another character, Laura, to engage with these people on the call lines,
That would be true and such a good point if she wasn't just herself.
The cop, Mark Kincaid.
Mr. McDreamy himself, yep.
Which, by the way, the entire film, I was like, it's you, dude. And then it got a little too obvious, and I was like, maybe it's not you because it's too obvious. And then I circled back around to, it's you, dude.
So there was a point where you definitely suspected him.
Absolutely. And I almost reconfirmed my suspicion about him. Right, when she, Sydney is untying, doing Gale, shoots the guy, behind her. She runs in, untie. He is gone. And then Kincaid shows up, dude, out of nowhere. How does he even know where they are and the address and stuff? And then I'm like, oh, it's definitely him. But just sort of in general, he had to go to Gail to ask her who the photo was.
Oh, it's so
you didn't
embarrassing.
Check Cotton's history, his connections.
You couldn't have Googled him. It's like this guy that everyone thought did this thing. They thought he did it for a reason, gang. It wasn't. They just make it up.
Did the killer get away with this stuff
with Maureen?
Yeah, were these killers getting away with it for so long because they were so good, or because the police force was so incompetent?
Because they suck. Well, he's a Hollywood cop, so maybe it's like a different breed. Do you know what I mean? Maybe they're just like worse at it. And at one point, he's like, well, I know the business, and I'm like, brother Kincaid, doesn't feel like you do.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? It's like, I don't think, okay, just. Because it's gonna drive me crazy. I need to say two things before we kind of move.
Okay.
They just because it's gonna be in my brain if I don't.
Yes, he's hot. Next,
Dewey is an absolute smoke show.
Ew, no.
there's just when he walks on stage, you don't play it again because I know you played it before. But when I say he's fit, just watch out, James, in the edit. Sydney is off the grid, and she is living like her TikTok influencer life. Okay,
yeah,
she has the dog, and she'd be like, "This is my day in the life of a work from home girly." Like she just has. I could see Sydney being a TikTok star, but also she has a mid-afternoon nap, James. And that results in her hallucinating her mum and then the killer. And it's just more proof that you are right, which is these films are coming after the afternoon nap.
Big nap. They hate big nap.
They have a pernicious agenda. They hate it. And I just wanted to say that because I'm going to forget it if I don't now. TikTok girly, working from home, and also coming after the afternoon nap. Those are the two. And then we can move on. But I just want to say that. So,
just briefly, because the mid-afternoon nap sort of does... that's where she wakes up and then is double dream haunted by her ghost mum.
Ghost mum. Classic.
Yeah, well, she's haunted by the ghost mum, but not because it's a dream, but is because it's not in the dream. But not because it's Ghostface, but it's an American werewolf-style double dream. You know what I mean? So, like...
Because... But which is confused, because then the killer can actually do her mum's voice. So it's like, is she precogging... do you know what I mean? It's like there's a lot of bullshit in this film.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. How did you feel?
Yeah.
How did you feel about Haunted by Ghost Mum?
I thought it was bad, and I thought it was uninteresting, and I thought it was obvious that it wasn't real, and so it had no threat, and so I wasn't interested in it in any way, shape, or form.
I just didn't understand how it was like Ghost Mum in the dream into Ghost Mum in real life into Ghostface, but then her going to the set of this place and then being haunted by the ghost voice of Mum, and then the murder scene and stuff. How did the killer know to play into that? I'm just like,
but I mean that's an answerable question by the end of the film, which is. I have to look at the summary because I've forgotten this cunt's name. Hold on.
Because Roman's trying to destroy her psychologically because he's a psychopath.
Because that's Roman's mom. So, like, I understand how it happens later. What I don't understand is why she sees the ghost in the first place. And there's a throwaway line by Dewey, which is like, you're out there, you're isolated, you're going to lose your mind by yourself. You need to be around people. And so the film tries to have it both ways, where it's like, oh, no, actually, it's
okay.
It's sort of like it's trying to be like, actually, it's a premonition, but then it's also not because she's just out there alone. Because remember when she goes, she has dinner with her dad, and he's like, "Sweetheart, I wish you're all out there alone. Like, I wish you'd come back." So I can square the circle on that. What I can't figure out is like why those dream sequences happen at all.
Yeah, I don't. The second Halloween movie that Rob Zombie did, I've only seen like once, but it had a lot of this stuff.
Spoilers?
He's being haunted by spoilers. I mean, who gives a shit?
Well, James, invariably before we die, we're going to cover Halloween.
If you're out there, dude, and you've been like, oh, no, I've just finished watching Rob Zombie's first Halloween film, which I thought was all right. It's just
is Rob Zombie not a musician?
Yeah, he's a musician and he's a director, and a writer. So
wait, you can be more than one thing.
You can be a slasher. Hey,
what?
Slash. I do this job. Slash. I do this job. Slash.
Oh.
And slasher because we're talking about slasher films. Thank you. Welcome to the joke.
Very layered. Liked it. Thank you for explaining.
Yeah, there was like a haunting of Ghost Mom or something in there too. Okay. So yeah. I don't know if they're trying to, I don't know if they're like trying to pay an homage to, how Jason Voorhees is like haunted by the ghost of his mom.
This definitely did.
This felt like that where the mum was like, yeah, of course. Who am I talking to?
For sure, I'm aware. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, that's classic Jason behavior.
It just felt like that, like the in this one, because the mum was like so much more nasty in this one. Like, chill, mum.
There's no reason for her to have this temporally. It's suspicious to me.
So not a fan. Not a fan of Ghost Mum is what you're saying.
When you first asked the question, I said no, and it feels like we've been talking about it for a couple of minutes and I haven't changed my stance. However, what I am a fan of, James, is Sarah fighting off the killer, aka Ghostface, with movie props, and everything she picks up is fake. That was really fun to me.
Yeah.
She picks up a machete and hits him with it, and it's like, oh, it's rubber. This thing is, and then she goes into her room, James, and this is the one time where I was hooting and hollering at the screen, where I was like, no, it's a room full of the costume, like, and it's just a room full of Ghostface costumes, and I was like, this is how you die. Like, you're fucked.
I love the slight tilt out as the reveal as well. It's very nice.
Delicious. And again, this is the director knowing what he's doing with these films.
The Scream series so far has been making fun of horror films, making fun of sequels in the second one, and now this one we're just making fun of films themselves in Hollywood, baby.
Just film production,
full
actors,
snake eating its tail. You know, we've come full circle.
Yeah, we've gone Ouroboros.
We're eating
James,
ourselves.
Put up on the screen Ouroboros from Inscription. Thank you.
Absolutely.
In the edit, you'll figure that out.
Yeah. And me put a picture of just a tall guy. That's good. Dewey getting with the actress that plays
Jennifer.
Gale.
It's a little weird.
Is this not extremely bizarre?
Dewey, so it seems like him and Gale made a run of it. They broke up. He went to every fragile man ever. He was like, that relationship didn't work out. Time to go to California to find my California dream. And yeah, he just he gets with the woman playing his ex-girlfriend.
Yeah.
What are you saying?
Just a woman who looks exactly like her and is playing her. So needs to emulate her in a lot of ways. Very bizarre, extremely bizarre.
I think the kids would call it cope, James.
The weirdest cope.
And what's weird is that it's not explicitly a relationship, but it seems sexual in some way. But also it seems like it's this thing of so he's a technical advisor. So he's not technically like her. He has no actual employment relationship with her, right? Like it's not like he's like, oh, her PA or whatever.
They both work at the same place, essentially.
But it seems like they are glued at the hip in some sense.
Yeah.
And they've fallen into this pattern where he's like her emotional rock, and she looks exactly like his ex.
Yeah.
And is trying to, by the end of the film, by the way, is best friends with her ex, by the way.
Yeah.
And is like to the point where there are several scenes with Gale and Jennifer where Jennifer steps forward and fucking kills him, absolutely crushes it in putting herself forward and being useful in a way Gale would do. He is just I think when you break up with someone, there are kind of three types of people that your ex gets with, right? One of them makes you go, geez, she was really slumming it with me. Where she gets with someone and you're like, wow, they're so good looking and they're so talented, they're so interesting. I can't believe she spent her time with me. The second type of person is, geez, I bet she misses laughing. Where you're like, oh, you're dating an accountant? Do you know what I mean?
Wow. Okay.
You're like, but it makes sense because they're
Let me know in the comments if this is universal, you know?
And I think the third type of thing that happens is the worst type of thing, which is she ends up, and I'm saying she because I'm heterosexual, but substitute your relevant pronouns. She ends up with someone that makes you kind of go, oh. And you go, oh, in a way, because you're insecure, because she ends up with someone that doesn't make sense to you. And that makes you go, well, hang on. We were intimate. We shared our lives. We shared our bed. And this doesn't make sense to me. And that makes you start to call into question, well, did I really know this person at all? Or were they just performing or putting on a front? Were we really ever intimate? And I feel like for Dewey and Jennifer, it's just the first thing, which is he found a version of me that's unchallenging. Yeah, in the comments, let me know which what what's your spectrum of X's? But that for me has definitely been the case. And I think that the third thing is the worst, which is that insecure thing where you kind of go and you do this thing where you make it all about yourself when it's clearly not, where you're like, well, I don't, because I'm the important one here. But I would say for Dewey and Gale, there's this interesting dynamic where you start off thinking she's just a photocopy of a photocopy. She's a himbo. She's like, she's a cheap substitute. By the end of the film, I'm like, why are you with, why? I think Jennifer might be like better for you. Like, as it goes on, she sort of contributes more. I don't know.
Yeah, as they become like friends. Hey, Jennifer's chill, was chill. I'm not convinced that Dewey didn't. Dude, when she's like being murdered behind the glass stuff, and he's like, don't worry, Gale, I got this.
Bang, bang, bang.
Guy has like 6 bullets in his gun, and he is just shooting out
a long time.
Window by window by window. It's like, I think he wanted it. I think he was buying time so she would be killed.
So she could die.
So that he could like get his, not only could he get his exit, but he gets to sort of like play off of like, oh, I'm so sad that she's dead. Gale has to like help him heal, Damn, dude. I mean, is Dewey a toxic piece of shit?
I think that, they're both toxic. That's why.
Okay.
That's why they broke up. I have an ex like that where it's like, there's a reason we're not together, right? Like, it's a toxic. When we come together, we're not good for each other. But I think Dewey and Gale trick themselves. They go, but we have all the shared trauma. We must work.
Right.
Even Gale's like, but we don't work. And he's like, but we can give it a try. And it's like, I don't think they're going to be together next film.
They want different things, because he wants to settle down in Woodsboro. She wants to go and do stuff. She has big aspirations.
He's in fucking Hollywood, James.
Yeah, no, that's why I don't know how he ended up there, because he was literally saying.
But I think they reverse positions. I think Dewey wants the limelight. I think Gale wants to settle down, because their whole thing now is like, I don't want to be all about this shit. I want to like, settle down. I think this film. Why am I defending this film? I think this film does a good job, writing-wise, of reversing their positions, where Dewey is seeking the limelight and Gale is trying to do the right thing. That's the setup of their characters, and then they come together, and then it means nothing and goes nowhere.
Damn. Like two ships passing in the night, 2 toxic little ships. Bumping in, tussling around a little bit,
But big people boarding between them.
Watching each other through soundproof glass for some reason. That comes up a lot. Like a lot in these movies, all of them.
Yeah, it's a big... Do you think it was just like... That was when they invented soundproof glass, maybe? Do you think that's what happened? They were like...
I think it came up too often for it to not be fetish related. I'm just saying it.
Whoa,
dude.
So... Yikes.
Well, we find out that the killer, he's killing people in the same order as the kills in the new movie script.
Yes.
But okay.
No, keep going. What? Keep going.
Well, I'm just saying, no one seemed to really get that. Like, hey guys, if kills are happening according to what's happening in a script in a film that we're currently filming right now, and no one fucking knows about, maybe someone affiliated with the movie could be the killer because they'd have the script or something.
No, they go straight to someone's acquired the script.
Someone's
read the script.
Of course.
But then the twist, James. The twist is there's 3 different scripts. Who will die next?
Well, it depends. Are you counting the fax messages that came in as canon? Is that canon? Because the killer was rewriting the script in real time. So those pages are canon, I think.
I think of the film, that sequence is the most creative and the dumbest at the same time.
Yeah, it is.
Because practically it makes no fucking sense.
Yeah.
But as an idea, very, very creative and interesting. So for those who haven't watched, which is I assume a percentage of the listener base, you shouldn't watch this film.
Don't.
So I assume
don't
watch this film. It's not great. It's not good. So our key players, they're at Jennifer's house, and it's Dewey, his bodyguard, etc. The bodyguard gets killed, and the guy runs back inside, and they're getting these fax messages. I can't believe I have to explain this. If you're not young enough to understand what a fax is, it's basically an email that it prints itself.
They're faxing fucking messages in. Yeah.
Google the word fax.
Exactly. Yes.
Gen Zs. And so as they're in this situation where the killer's about, they know what's happening, and they know that in the script, he's killing them in the order that people get killed in the script, faxing through these pages because there's 3 versions of the script. And the conceit of the scene is you have to stay by the fax machine to learn which version of the script they're killing by, to learn who dies next. Turns out, and this is insane, it's one of you will be spared is sort of the fax that comes through. Then the next fax, and it's like, oh my god, who is it? And they run outside, they run back inside, they run outside. It's like real goofy. And then the guy Tom goes to the machine and he reads it out, he yells it out, and he goes, the person that'll be spared is whoever smells the gas. And then boom, the house explodes.
Yes, because he gets the fax, the power goes out, and he says, instead of walking immediately out the door outside into the light, he goes, hold on a moment, guys. I think I'll just venture slightly deeper into the house. I'll rummage around here. I found myself an old lighter. Let me see. What does this say? A flick? Are you fucking kidding me, dude?
Nope. Hang on.
Dude, this is reckless. This is reckless.
I could have exploded right what one of them did.
Yeah. I'm going to edit you exploding right as you click it. Yes.
Yeah, that's so true. That's a great edit, James. Well done.
I've been thinking about adding jump scares throughout the episodes, which...
That's too stressful. Think about that.
I also hate the idea of like putting on, because like I listen to I put like an ear pod in and I have a podcast playing while I'm sleeping or whatever. Sure. And I hate for that to be like a jump scare for some, maybe they've got YouTube Premium. $16.99 a month, guys. It sucks, but fuck, is it the best $16.99 a month I spent? God, I love no ads. Anyway, and then you get,
you know what I mean? Yeah,
you get this like fucking, loud scream jump scare.
Yeah,
it's not good.
The compression on that didn't make it, but in real life it was quite scary. I think my microphone probably did a lot of work.
It felt scary. Yeah, it felt scary.
So I was doing the scream thing. Now I have to. You got more notes before we get to like. Well, actually, no. We're kind of up to date, I think.
Kind of. Except unless we want to talk more about how the killer fucking possibly deepfake Maureen Prescott's voice, or the link between Maureen at this point in the film on the Backlot Studios. The photo of Maureen that got left on Cotton's body has a building in the background that matches a building on the backlot at a studio that they're filming Stab 3 at.
That's just maths, dude. What's your problem?
Did I mention that I didn't like this film? Also, Scream 3, a modern warning expressing the dangers of identity theft, still relevant today. What with AI in that?
Something that I don't understand is, did Roman in 1995 somehow record Sydney's mother's voice such that he could reproduce it with his magic device on the phone such that it was sufficiently convincing
to her daughter
make Sid think it was real? Now, no.
To someone who would know her voice better than anyone, The
answer is no. Will I suspend disbelief for a film? Yes.
Could I fully suspend the disbelief on this one for that piece of futuristic 2024 technology?
No. Because we still do not have it. You know what? At the time, you're like, well, the future could be anything. We're in the future, and our technology is dog shit.
Yeah.
AI is garbage.
It's barely scraping at what this is doing flawlessly. Yeah.
Until we crack quantum computing, none of this is going to be any good. And I'm in a position where the conceit that this film rests its entire conceit on this device working. And I don't want to be like a dick because I write stories that have stuff that aren't real. It seems to me the issue with the device is that it can do too many voices too convincingly.
Yes.
What I would have liked
flawlessly.
is...
Yeah.
What I would have preferred if I did a rewrite on the show is I would have preferred if people that were alive when the device existed, or like when Cotton was around, their voice is really clear and compelling, right? Like, you know, he's got lots of recordings and footage and stuff. But like maybe Maureen's voice is ghostly and it's kind of haunting. Like you could play up that aspect.
Oh, and then
do you know
that
what I mean?
Yeah, and then over the phone, it's like it's an extension of her dreams. Am I really experiencing this? Because again, we question her after she gets attacked, by the way, which is crazy. This woman is literally being pursued by a killer and has been for like the past 4 fucking years. I think we can believe her when she says, hey, a dude tried to fucking kill me inside a replica of my own house, which I'm sure was a fucking mind fuck.
To be fair, everyone believes her. Kincaid immediately is like, we all believe you. No one is questioning that she got attacked by someone.
There's a bit there where he's like, all right, I guess we'll go talk down at the station, I guess. Let's go talk down at the precinct, I suppose. Crazy lady. Because later he says,
not what happens.
He says to her, once they're in the precinct and they have this like weird little back and forth or whatever, he says to her, he's like, Sid, I believe you. And that's him telling her, I believe you now. Because he didn't believe her before.
That's not what happens.
No, he was there. I am not dreaming. I am not crazy. He was there in Woodsboro.
That's not Woodsboro, Sydney.
You know what I mean, but he was there. He or she or whoever this is.
We're gonna take you back to the station.
Must have missed that because this film really washes over the brain. You know the film executive in this picture. You know how like Roman goes to the boss and you know his window is like out on the lakes and stuff and they're talking in the office? Do you remember this?
Yeah.
Is the film executive supposed to be James Cameron? Because there's like a Terminator-esque statue in the background. Do you know what I mean? Like it feels like, because this film was all about commentary, like it felt like Jim Cameron. I don't know. I'm not sure.
You thought that was someone having like a sneak diss at James Cameron and being like, look into the parties or something.
Yeah. And like as Kendrick would say, I'm the biggest hater, so like I get it.
I don't know. Jimmy Cameron, you're not a fan, is what you're saying. Wow.
I just think if you're gonna keep making Avatar, you should write a different story for every film, Jim.
Okay, dude, it's not Avatar podcast, it's Scream podcast, okay?
It's just like write a different plot each time, Jim.
Sid at her house or Sydney at the house on set? Because when she rounds that corner and you realize, as she does, oh, I'm in Stu's house and I'm across the road from my house. Oh, David's doing.
Can I do the?
Yeah, do the reenactment. Yeah, this is what it looks like. We'll do it side by side so we can see who done it better.
Wait, are you talking about the door pull when she realizes there's no second floor, or what are you talking about?
I'm talking about as she is sort of like, she hears the noise, which, by the way, the interaction with the chick in the bathroom where she's like dropping the mask and has the phone. She's like, oh, these are just souvenirs. Super weird. I was so sus on that chick the entire time. It's crazy that she wasn't affiliated with the killings.
Emily Mortimer, that's the actress playing that person, is Emily Mortimer. Made kind of famous by The Newsroom, which is a Aaron Sorkin joint. I'm convinced that she's just herself. Like, you know what, there's actors where you're like, you're not really acting, you're just you.
She's
one of those actors where I'm like,
you're saying she's a female Seth Rogen?
Yeah, but less weed, I assume.
Okay.
I have no reason to think otherwise. Sorry, keep going.
No, I'm saying when she hears the noise and she's like coming out and then she accidentally walks onto the set and she is sort of coming out of this hallway and then she's like in Stu's house and sees her house. Wow.
Oh, wow.
You really do have to watch the video. I mean, these are only coming out in videos, but still, side-by-side footage there. Side-by-side footage.
If you have YouTube Premium like we do, you can listen to it on your headphone.
True.
The
Everybody has a podcast with YouTube Premium.
What a feature that used to exist for free that is now paywalled. Super cool.
True.
A thing that I couldn't get past is the Sid. She sees that, she goes into the set of her house. You would have noticed in the summary, I put a lot of detail into this because it is so unsettling.
It really is.
It's so like
exact. Her bedroom is precise. Like it is. It's weird, and that's why I was like, man, this would be so surreal.
But it's the only place that's exact. So I and James, I'm not going to give you an editing job. I'm just going to say this, and you decide how you want to do this, if you want to do this. But I went back yesterday morning, and I sort of put them side by side, the set and the house, and the house is pretty close, but it's kind of wrong with certain detail. But her bedroom is like some production designer working on this film rebuilt the whole bedroom. It is like almost proportion to proportion. It's crazy.
And he's rebooting the franchise, but in real life, because now he's obsessed with Sydney, and he became obsessed with her. But now it's ultra meta, Deadpool style. We've come out of the movie. He's actually going after Neve Campbell, who he became obsessed with by watching the Scream movies. Scream in real life coming 2025.
Scream, but real life, semicolon, but also it's a film, but also it's real life.
Gail gets killed at like a Comic-Con style meet and greet by the killer, and it's the actual actress.
If Gail dies in this franchise, I'm quitting.
Okay. Yeah.
So, can I give you the moment I was actually gonna act out?
Oh yeah, please.
Which is as Sid is escaping from the killer, she does the classic Scream moment of running up the stairs. Okay, classic Scream, and she goes to open a door that she knows in her house again, because this is a replica, is a way for her to escape. And what happens is this, James.
Again, side-by-side footage. Whoa. Now that's acting.
And because she opens the door and there's nothing there, and then she uses that knowledge to trick the killer, and he comes up behind her, and she's like, whoa, and then he goes, and then he falls down and helps her escape. It helps her escapee. You know what I'm saying?
It's clever. It's good stuff.
It's good. Again, this film, lots of great ideas. Bad film, though.
Was a bit unfair. The killer had a bit of a home ground advantage on this one. He knew,
Sid.
He knew, yeah, but he knew the set. She knows her house. He knew that,
true.
Going through this way, coming into the back door, Sid's first time playing that map.
She still aced him. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sid played it in CS1, and with the new graphics, the sightlines are completely different. The reflections are completely different.
The volumetric smokes.
The smoke is it's like the smoke is like a completely different mechanism now. And I'm not surprised that at her KD, to be honest with you. I thought she put in a good effort, but I think he got away with it, if we're being honest with ourselves. So
why are we tripling down on the Sydney trauma in this one?
What do you mean? Why would you say that?
When she walks into the room, that's an extremely detailed recreation of her mum's murder scene.
This is okay. If content disclaimer, this is what I was talking about at the start. We're going to talk about The Thing really quickly so we can talk about it. We can move on. It doesn't have to be in the rest of the episode. So, yeah. This is a faithful recreation. Skip ahead, use the time codes if you don't hear about discussions of rape and sexual assault. So this is a faithful recreation of the place where Sydney's mom, and it's complicated, right? It's the place where in the first film, Sydney's mother was raped and killed. But it's also, the set is physically located on the lot where Sydney's mother was raped while in Hollywood.
Oh, shit. I didn't think of that. Yeah. Wow.
So, and I appreciate it's the year 2000. Okay. I understand that there's a lot of sensitivity that doesn't exist yet. The film is trying to take this and use it to amplify the fraughtness of this moment. And I just like I come away thinking like I'm not sure that this adds enough to justify its inclusion, but also at the same time I understand the era it was in and things like that. But yeah, it's there's a lot of, especially knowing that Roman is aware of what all occurred, right? There's no way to square the circle on this film dealing with those topics responsibly, and understanding those topics and these traumas responsibly. But the fact that Sid, as you say, the fact that Sid is in this moment, in this place, dealing with being attacked again, it puts into mind for me the way this film imagines what a strong woman means in this moment in history. If you think about, Ripley and the lineage that Sid comes from, it's not that someone is strong and is able to take on the world. It's that they are able to fight through these traumas and able to overcome these things, right? There's a sort of Stephen King would describe it a particular kind of way with women, but there's a kind of you're strong only because you're able to overcome these traumas, not that you're strong in your own right and you have your own ambitions. Sid is reacting to these things and overcoming them. I think those are very different. Those are very different modes of thinking about what women are capable of in stories, where one of them goes, you have ambitions and drive and objectives, and you have compassion and you're seeking those. And one of them is sort of
resilience.
Yeah, and it's resilience in the face of really horrifying acts. Like if you compound the way this film lays Roman and Sid's mom, Maureen, like it's a pretty damning portrait of the way women were and still are treated. But it doesn't give it the weight that it needs. It sort of plays it up for a twist in some sense, I think.
And this movie was still, I don't know if Scream goes on to be owned by other studios. I think it does, because I think the latest one was Sony. But at this point, this movie is still a Miramax film, which is a Weinstein company. And it's like, and this is the story that they're telling. It just seems so like, so we get Randy's tape, right? So we meet Martha Meeks, who's Randy's sister, and
bit goth, bit edgy, cool look. I like her look. It's cool.
I thought this is where he comes in and he gives us the trilogy rules, which are rule number 1, you've got a killer who's going to be superhuman. Rule number 2, anyone, including the main character, can die. Okay. And rule three, the past will come back to bite you in the ass. Those are the trilogy rules.
Yeah.
I thought it would have been great because at the time of him recording this is back in Scream 2, and we're further down the line. And this is him.
This is before that, because this is pre-facial hair. I think this is like high school. This is post first Scream.
Even crazier, because this is him saying, like, I'm trying to help you once I'm gone, so my death isn't in vain. And I thought it would have been so funny if the tape didn't give them the trilogy rules and all of that shit, and it was just him sort of doing a presentation as to why he thinks the killer is Jerry O'Connell's character Derek from Scream 2. And he's just, and he's like, it could be Mikey. Mikey is another great choice because the killer knows a lot about films and like all this stuff. Yeah. And that's the tape. And they're like, we already know who the killer was. We solved this already.
So weird. Yeah, it's stop pitching. Weird. My next note, James, is really incoherent. It just says I know what this is. The basement of the so. The director, Roman, has his birthday. And all of the film production is like halted because everyone keeps dying. You can't film a film if all your leads are dead.
Yes.
That's common sense, folks. And so but it's his birthday. And so everyone comes to his house for his birthday party.
Simultaneously, we have the two Gales on the lot finding out that Raina Reynolds is Maureen Prescott.
Yes.
And Raina Reynolds is Maureen Prescott's stage name. And she was in the films made by John Milton, who was the guy who was like producing or funding this one or whatever.
Which we later learn is Roman's father. Is that right? He committed the sexual assault?
Presumably?
I think that's the case.
Right.
I'm going to now not refer to that moving forward.
Yeah.
Time code wise. So what we're going to do here is everyone turns up at another party, which seems to be Scream's thing.
Yeah.
Go to a party and someone gonna die. Everyone gonna die except a couple people. And this party happens at Roman's house. Roman is the director, but he's not really a director anymore because no one's going to want to work with him because everyone he works with currently is dead. So his career's kind of down the drain. So he gets a bit drunk, but actually maybe he's not that drunk because we'll find out later.
I really quite doubt that there aren't people who are parasitic enough in Hollywood to see that as a major opportunity for them to come in, be in his next film, you know, and ride essentially the marketing of the deaths of the people from the first film, but finally we get it made, and then that like puts you on the map, you know? People do that.
Guys, this week I'm actually working with Roman. Now, a lot of you tried to cancel Roman. You tried to tell him that he couldn't be a director in Hollywood, and I'm here trying to buck that stereotype. I'm working with him. He's a really nice guy. And all of his past crimes, everything he did wrong, it's slander, it's bullshit. And you guys, I'm going to take you on the day in my life as a production assistant on the set of Roman's film.
Hey guys, day 256 of working with Roman. Still not dead. Just wanted to say that today I'm doing this. Yeah.
Dead inside, but not dead for real. The gang gets it. Now, at the party, the first thing that happens is it seems like Roman might be dead. He might have died, guys. Is it the big first kerfuffle, or are my notes wrong? Like,
that's our first, you know, Gale 2 heads down into
Jennifer Gale 2, yeah.
And we find him murdered in a coffin.
Yeah.
You know.
Now, the basement walk up to the coffin is the exact same framing of the boss entry of Elden Ring's Shaded Castle boss, with these little weird statues and the cloth everywhere. It truly is, like, side for side. I'm like, did Miyazaki just watch this film and went, yeah, that'll do? I don't know. And it seems like Roman's dead in the coffin, and this is a fake out, of course, because he's the killer, right? He goes to the house, he kills all the other folk in dramatic fashion, all the other actors, and then eventually he captures Dewey and Gale, ties them up, and he calls Sid. I think capturing Dewey and Gale as hostages is the best this film can do as far as stakes go. Because like you said at the start, there's no point of view character necessarily except for Dewey and Gale.
Yes.
But we're not that like it's sort of
not at all.
It tries to be like, these are your people, right? And I'm like, Gale kind of, but not really. Like,
yeah, I suppose.
Like she's reformed herself, but doesn't mean I'm on her side. So I don't know, does any of this work for you structurally? Are you batting for him? Are you hooting hollering? Or are you just like
No, I mean, I feel the same way. I mean, we don't really have too much of a connection to anyone. We're not really couched in this world through anybody and their perspective, and you know, it's just sort of like, oh, okay, that's happening to Dewey and Gale, and oh, that's happening to these actors. I guess I care about them even less. And is Sydney gonna come in at all?
I like that she's not the focus, but like the last film, we talked a lot about the fact that like Sid's boyfriend felt really important to us because he was sort of our lens into these these moments where it was like you got to see someone close to her reacting to what was happening, and it helped contextualize what was going on. And we started to feel a type of way about his reaction to stuff. You know, like the point where she's getting into the cab and she's chuffing off, right? You know, she's gone with her roommate.
In Scream 2,
and we both in Scream 2, we both felt that moment where it was like, well, why don't you tell me where you're going? It's like, well, she doesn't trust him. And that puts into context the story and what's happening. It gives us a point of view in, right? This film doesn't really have that. And it feels like a real obvious missed opportunity. And they sort of double down on gimmicks, right? Sydney, so Sydney turns up to the house. Gail and Dewey are tied up, and Sydney is hell-bent on fighting. So she has a gun that he takes away, and then she tricks this dude and pulls out a gun. And
secret second gun, yep.
Secret second gun, but he's wearing a vest, so it doesn't matter.
Obs.
And then it's like, there's a secret bookshelf passage.
Oh, you mean to get into the sort of like the secret fuck shack that was hidden in between the walls? Yeah.
Oh, was it a fuck shack?
Yeah, dude. There was I think there was like a bed in there, and there was like a big TV, and I think a bar. I can't really remember, but
is it sort of implied that this is where the essay?
Oh, Jesus Christ! Is it? I don't know.
I think because it's Roman's dad's house,
right?
So I think it's implied that's the location of the essay of Roman and Sydney's mother, I think, which is a lot. And yeah, Roman reveals he's Sid's half brother as a result of this essay, and I was so wrong about how this went. I thought when Sydney got shot, I thought that Roman had grabbed like a prop gun because it's Hollywood. I thought it was a callback.
Yes. Yeah.
My brother in arms. And I was like, I was wrong. It's a great twist. Actually, she's wearing a vest just like he was because she was at the police station.
Yeah.
And
she even though it's super didn't look like she was wearing one, but that's fine. That's
not
cool.
Until she pulled. Yeah. Anyway, it's classic Hollywood where it's like, but actually I am, and you're like, I can put screenshots next to each other. You won't. And yeah, Roman kind of reveals that he is the her half brother, and I guess that he went to her 4 years ago, and she kind of rejected him because he was sort of the offspring as a result of the essay of Maureen.
This sort of reminder of a life that she's obviously trying to leave behind. Yeah,
which you like. Randy's message at the start is sort of like, the past can't be trusted, his videotape is all about this stuff. I think the film wants Roman to not be sympathetic, right? Obviously it's like he's the villain, right? There's no bones about that. The thing I struggle with is as he's dying, she stabs him a bunch of times. There's a whole bunch of hijinks, and then Gail and Dewey turn up, and Dewey eventually shoots him in the head. Yeah. But she holds his hand
after shooting him in
end.
the chest for like 7.5 minutes. Yep.
It's embarrassing. It's so goofy.
Used to be a cop, by the way. Used to be a cop. Just want to throw that out there.
Not a great one though.
True.
We watched the other two films. He was a deputy, and not a great one. And yeah, she kind of holds his hand as she holds his hand as he dies, and this is one of those moments where I was like, other films wouldn't do this. Other films wouldn't have this brief moment of connection between these two people that like, by all measures and rationale, Sid should hate this guy. Sid should think of this guy as a villain. There's something there,
isn't there? There's like, they have these sort of like, these moments of, I don't know. She almost seems unhappy with having to kill her brother.
I think I think Sid's unhappy with losing anybody. Like, I think she's so far down this rabbit hole of where she's at and losing all these people, and just like everyone that gets close to her eventually gets got. And I think it's just this moment of like, I think for a trilogy, it's a really great moment where it's Sid even being able to sympathize with the person that set all of this destruction and horror and lost in motion. I think it's Sid reclaiming her vulnerability, right? It's her laying her claim and saying, actually, I refuse. I refuse to be afraid. I refuse to be in constant fear. I refuse to be a victim. And that's why at the end, she's able to take off the locks and let the door be open, because she's saying, actually, no. I choose to give a shit. I choose to trust in people, right? It's a moment of vulnerability that for me, if in a better film or in a differently structured film, would sell the whole thing. And that's why at the start, and you made fun of me for it. That's why at the start when I said, like, I don't think it's a good film, but I think it's the most interesting, because it's reaching for this really complicated maneuver of recontextualizing the previous two films.
Yes.
Having someone be the orchestrator of those two films. And then having Sid at the end of it try to come to terms with that and try to reconcile that.
Yeah.
And I don't think it lands its blows in that way, but I appreciate
I think it's trying to do a lot. It's trying to do
trying to do
too
much.
many things. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think
trying to justify too many things with like the story. It's yeah, it's
trying to square too many circles in the end of the film. But I guess what I like is that it tries. I appreciate that it tries to do those things, because I think a lesser Scream 3 or a less ambitious Scream 3 would just be kind of a lame. It'd be like, well, now Sid is happy, but this film goes, she's happy and at peace, but like maybe that's not like, maybe it's not earned. Maybe it was maybe this was always coming. Like I don't know, the way it all squares out, where he dies and then, you know, he was the orchestrator of all of this and sort of the architect behind all of it.
Yeah,
it makes you go, she survived and she finds peace, not she earned peace. And I think those are two very different things. Like it's sort of she gets her just desserts. She doesn't reap the rewards of surviving. I don't know.
You don't think so?
I don't know.
I think she earned it. She got in there and like
say
double bluffed him out with a second gun, fucked him up with that shit, took 2 close range gunshots to the chest, down for the count. Or is she? That's when she becomes the hunter, prowling around. And then she stabs him and reveals, shaboom, bulletproof vest, even though this bulletproof vest is massive and it didn't look like I was wearing a bulletproof vest.
Yeah.
Literally 2 seconds ago when I got shot close range twice in the chest. It's fine. You know, I think she earned it.
I don't mean I didn't mean physically. I meant like the emotional labor of earning that piece. I think she definitely, like, physically, if she was a Mortal Kombat character, she KO'd everyone that's come up against her, right? I'm not sure that the film does a good job of giving Sydney the representation of the emotional labor to get to the point where she's at peace. We do a time skip and then she's at peace. And I would have liked the film to be more about her coming to terms with everything that's happened.
Oh, post everything, and it's just sort of like, hey, I'm healed now. Keep that fucking door open. That's
what I'm saying.
Terrible fucking early 2000s music. Oh my god, the soundtrack's so bad.
That's what I'm saying, James. I would have liked to see a bit more focus on how does Sydney become a whole person after all of this. Instead, it just happens.
Before we dip out of this segment and segue into our next one, I'd be remiss if I didn't touch on all of the really fucking dumb, goofy shit that we overlooked really quick.
Oh, we skipped some goofy shit. Go for it.
Yeah, we're not going
to do a hot list of goofy stuff.
A lot of all the stuff up until this point, I don't give a fuck about. You know, the house blowing up and all of that dumb fucking shit. 90% of the kills just being people faked out with a fake voice. Fuck, that got stale.
Big time, brother. Big time.
I'm talking about stuff like the cop gets a little too into Sydney's backstory back at the precinct. You know, we're a bit iffy on him. Like, she's like, did you put yourself on this case? Like, she's iffy on him too or whatever. And then we get hit
sus.
with the worst line so far in the franchise. Sid hits him with, what's your favorite scary movie? And he says, my life.
Yeah, it's pretty cringe.
Kill me dead. A lot of
Yeah,
people
it's bad.
had these sort of like off to the side of the shot, you know, one-liners to end a scene or whatever. Hated it.
None of them work. None of them work.
The other one was Gail and Dewey on the phone. She gets picked up. They're like walking out of the house or whatever. She gets picked up, taken down in, you know, this door or whatever. They fall down the stairs. The killer is half asleep but lunging at noises at the bottom of the stairs. They're on the phone. Gail and Dewey talking. Gail needs help. The killer knocked out at the bottom of the stairs. He finally wakes up, right, after this back and forth of like, can I even trust what I'm hearing? The voice changer. Gail screams. Dewey opens the door, has no bullets because he spent 7.5 minutes shooting out 11 windows one by one before Gail 2 was murdered, which my theory is that he did it on purpose so that she could be killed so that he had a smooth transition back into his relationship with Gail number 1.
I mean, that is what happened.
The killer, in the most Home Alone style rinky-dink ding-dong bullshit, throws his knife. It bumps him on the noggin with the handle, and he falls down the stairs. I'm going to play it.
It's so funny. It's so funny.
Here's a movie trivia game. Is this from Scream 3 or Home Alone, the first film?
You think, in this moment, Dewey's number is up, and then it donks him in the noggin, and he just does a big tumble? It's
wouldn't have been
ridiculous.
surprised if they edited it in that, like, whoop, 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 you know, like the slipping sounds in, like, you know, the old cartoons, and him
or
ding
like
dong,
a slide
ding,
whistle,
ding,
like, wow, wow, like, you know.
we end the scene with a
so
with
goofy.
a like circle wipe in, and it's just like wah, bah, 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 bah. And then we close out, and then we go to our next scene.
And like Roman's resurrection, the Scream franchise is famous for like you kill the person, they get back up, and you double tap them. Roman's fucking resurrection is identical to the previous film, where he just kind of lurches up like Dracula, not really attacking. They just kind of bolt upright,
just springing to life, basically.
Yeah, it's not. It's
really
nothing.
less threatening and really more of like a final gasp of air.
Make yourself a bigger target, don't you? You know what I mean? Like,
and of course we have to talk about the big reveal being Maureen Prescott, aka Ryan Reynolds, had another kill. Roman Bridger, who claims that he was following Sydney's mum, his mum. He was following her around. He was filming her. He catches her shacking up with Billy's dad, shows it to Billy, and convinces him to kill Sydney's mum and then her. But the second movie kind of alluded to the fact that Billy's mum convinced him to do the killing because she said that she like takes credit for guiding him.
Well, yeah, because Maureen ruined Billy's parents' marriage, but also
so you think so you think both things are true. You think she was also steering him, and at the same time Roman was like, hey, look at this fucked up video I've got of your dad cheating on your mum. Doesn't this suck? Look at this camera footage.
But James,
and
that
he's like,
video.
You should kill.
But James, that video. It's so stupid, but also it's so uncomfortable to talk about because, like, in the footage of Maureen with Roman's father is explicitly in the film essay, right? Like it's not consensual. What's unclear to me is how much of what Billy says is true about the things that he. Because Roman is like, well,
Billy's dad and Maureen Prescott, their relations weren't consensual?
No. Maureen and Roman's father.
Yes.
The Hollywood producer.
Yes.
That's non-consensual.
Yes.
What remains unclear is whether Billy's father and Maureen is consensual. But what Roman tells what Roman tells Sid is that he showed the footage of Maureen with Roman's father to Billy and Stu, and that was what incited them to realize that she was an adulterer. I think. I could be wrong about the specifics there, but I'm pretty sure that's right.
I thought it was him. I thought it was him showing him footage of like, this lady's ruining your mum and dad's relationship. Look, she's shacking up with your dad. Like, because we even see the footage, and it's both of them. He's sort of filming from like a car park kind of looking thing, and it's Maureen and Billy's dad out the front of, you know, this sort of like motel before they go inside. So
that could be right. But I also wonder, like, just given the context this film was playing with, how much of that was supposed, or how much of that we can viably read as consensual, right? Like, I don't know. And that's part of this film's problem, is like, it introduces all of these really complicated themes and does nothing with them. And again, I can appreciate the era it was made in. I understand all of that. None of it feels good to square. Yeah. It is absurdly complicated, though, to be like, and I guess that's the joke. That's the bit. Is that trilogies try to recontextualize the whole thing, and it's all about one thing, but that you thought it was, but it wasn't this thing that you thought it was, but it's this other thing. Like, that's the thing.
I'm not deep on the trilogy meta, so that could be a thing.
Yeah, well, as someone that my most recent book was the third in the series, that book at the end of it has a big twist of like, oh, you thought you understood what happened. You didn't.
Well, spoilers, dude. I can't read it now because now I know there's a twist coming. So the whole time I'm just going to be waiting for a big twist coming. Thanks a lot. So.
Jedi comes back. That's not it. Return of the Jedi.
David,
what's the third?
David, it's what's the third Star Wars film?
Return of the Jedi. He learns that his.
I don't know actually.
I don't. It's Return of the Jedi. Anyway, are you segueing or do you have another point? Because I was going to segue. I was building up to a segue.
David, segues are great, but better than segues are the second segments to shows. Welcome to Survive the Fright, the segment of the show where David and I try to figure out, hey, that movie that we just watched, how me and you can then survive that if that happened to us in real life.
And we have new rules.
That summary was written by David, by the way. I read that verbatim.
That was not. Welcome to Survive the Fright. Like any good horror setup, there's always a way out, and we'll find it if we can survive the fright, James.
That's what I wrote.
Now, this episode, that's not true. I was deeply concerned that I couldn't survive this. However, one of the key conceits of this film is that it's all about the order in which people are killed in the script. I would simply get a job as the writer of the film.
Oh.
And with my prosaic powers, James, I would rewrite the script such that I am unkillable.
Yes. Except that it's not
checkmate.
It's not a magical script in which you are writing your own powers. It's
sorry, did you not hear me? I said checkmate. So game's over. I win.
David drops dead. Boom. So, and then
checkmate.
Anyone can write the script, dude. They were faxing in stuff like, I don't know if that's going to save you. I love the idea. Now, if the script was magical in nature and it could protect you, James, then I think that would be great.
In the film logic of Scream 3.
In the film logic of Scream 3, yes.
If someone survives the script of Scream 3, they're not going to get killed. Because that's what Roman's deranged mind is based on. Do you know what I mean?
Right, but then after he killed the first Sydney, he wouldn't have been able to kill the second Sydney because he already killed Sydney and double jeopardy. So
I'm actually getting a phone call. Just
okay.
Just gotta
feel like he might be using that to just sort of segue out so he doesn't have to give an answer to it, which I think is pretty evident.
Thanks, Mom. No, it was just Anne. Now, actually, that's so crazy, James. My second option, of course, was...
Well, sidestepped it.
Now, a rule that you introduced, which makes me hesitant to pitch second ideas, because you introduced a rule which is we can all use the same concept twice.
Yes.
Which makes me real nervous about introducing ideas. My other idea is, it's a film set There's some guy. There's a bunch of history. My idea was, could I become so ineffectual I'm not worth killing? What I mean by that
you
is
are circling back in true trilogy fashion. You are pulling from earlier, better films, right? This was the very first solution that you tried to introduce in Scream 1 was to make yourself... Doug, you wanted to cover yourself in pillows so that they couldn't stab you, and then another one was sort of like covering yourself in bubble wrap. And I said... This
isn't the same thing.
And I said, you're just going to be like a fun little like toy for them to like play with until they get to the meat of you to kill you.
This isn't the same thing.
Okay,
I was going to say...
Because
this is
the
different.
overarching method was, and I quote... making yourself too much trouble to kill. And that feels like okay.
This is different. I'm making myself so uninteresting I'm not worth killing. Now that I say that out loud, there's some sort of semantic similarities.
Yeah. And then you have to live with yourself afterwards knowing like how boring you are and that's why you survived. Oh, that'd suck.
That's my plan though. I want to become like a...
living at what
not
cost?
Even like a... You know? Not even like a associate producer. I want to be like a PA to someone's PA. Do you know what I mean? Like I want to be going out getting sandwiches on the set, like getting coffees on the set. Like I want to be the lowest of the lowest rung on this film, such that I'm not worth killing. That's my actual strategy.
Okay, cool.
What about you? What have you got?
So many kills in this film happen because we just can't tell. Can we trust this bloody voice on the other end of this line?
So true.
My survival method. Submit it for the approval of the Midnight Society. Constantly pitch changing my voice in all conversations at all times, in real life and via phone calls. Now, I will also add to that doing different character voices I will weave different character voices throughout my conversations with people. And you'll never get a fake call from me because they won't be able to match all my different methods, of which are updated daily.
Bring.
Hello.
Hey, James, it's David. Are we on for recording tonight?
David.
I'm sorry, is James there?
It's still me. Yeah, it's still me, dude.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, it sounded like James at the end.
This is not a soundboard. It's not actually.
Am I being pranked? I'm not sure. Is Ashton Kutcher there?
No pranks here, Davey boy. What can I do for you?
On tonight's recording, there's apparently a segment later on where you're going to do a bunch of voices, and we'll check that you're comfortable, that you have sort of a full range of voices you're comfortable doing. And I want to sort of get to the end of the bit. It feels like you've run out. Just want to check in with you first.
Just wanted to let you know that this is an audio recording this whole time. You're about to be onto my voicemail. Sorry for fooling you. I just like to do that sometimes. But text me, though. Beep.
Hey, James, it's David. Just calling about the podcast later. I wanted to check in with you that you have this really complicated bit about talking about your voices. It sounds like a lot. I'm not sure that we have the load for it, or honestly the time. We said we were going to try and keep it to an hour and a half, and it feels like we've got a lot of content to get through. But call me back. Love you, man. Bye. I think you're fine. I think you live.
And now you'll get a call back from me, and you'll know it's me. So
yeah. So I think you live.
My other go-to solution, I don't know if I want to burn gun this early in
James, be careful.
The films. Okay.
Be careful, because this might be important later.
I'm not going to burn gun just yet. I don't think I need gun. I think the constant pitch changing, all of these actors and stuff seem awful. I don't want to kick it with them anyway, so I'm never going to hang out with them at their weird shit parties in weird places where they like...
It's a big empty mansion with 4 people.
Yeah, it's super strange. It's like... Dog, the most stale fucking party you've ever walked into in your life. It'd be like, hey guys, so the vibes in here are rancid. I'm going to leave to just go do literally anything else because this sucks. Bye everyone.
It is truly the most accurate representation of Hollywood though. Like these big... gaudy houses with these gross tiles, and it's like these giant houses and 4 people that want to come to see you. Like it is so accurate in a way that is depressing. But I think don't burn gun, because gun will be important later.
Yeah, gun's going to be important later. But I think for this one, I think the only other thing I might need is sturdy and locked doors, because everyone's getting their doors stabbed in, kicked in. Funnily enough, who had the best door in the movie? Roman did. The killer in his hidden fuck palace. Yeah, the door's like full-blown like bank vault closed.
That's so true. It's like a vault. I was at a pub earlier today, and I went to the bathroom, and I was just coming out of the bathroom.
Mm-hmm.
The bathroom on the inside had a deadbolt. You know, like you know when you turn a deadbolt, like you literally can't open the door because it's like, so a normal lock. This is
the lock was on the inside. Yeah,
this is lock law. So a normal door lock, you turn it, and what it does is it stops you from turning the handle. A deadbolt is a bolt where you have two pieces of metal and you turn the thing and it puts bolts in, right? This, you understand? You put it on the screen, James,
There's a deadbolt on the fucking door. If you don't know what a deadbolt is, can't help you. Anyway, so there's a deadbolt on the inside.
Inside of the bathroom, James. Why would you need that? It was a pub.
Keep out critters.
Ruffians.
Yeah.
I just think most of these problems in this film could be solved with a deadbolt. And Sid had like a very complicated security scenario.
Yeah, right up until the end where she chooses to leave the door open. And so right at the end, Sydney, she closes up shop or whatever. They're going to go watch a movie or something. The door blows back open and she's like, nah, I'm going to leave it because I'm safe now. Sam, who hadn't been watching, she'd like been doing her own thing. She glanced up and she made a great point. Sydney's been attacked 3 times and she isn't locking her door. We've been attacked 0 times and I lock my door every day.
That's so true, James. But you've done more crimes than Sydney. You got more to worry about.
I'm a victim.
That's what they all say, mate. Yeah, let me tell you. That's what they all say. Speaking of endings, James, it's time for our final segment, Nosferat-Who, which is a segment of the show based on the genre started by F.W. Murnau's 1922 silent film Nosferat-Who, a symphony of horror, where we each pick something in the film that is indelible to the horror genre, or we feel that would only occur in the horror film. James, do you have a Nosferat-Who for us to kick us off?
I absolutely do in this one.
What you got?
This is really more of a... This one is more of a lesson, okay? What's indelible to horror in this movie? Oh, it doesn't it exemplify it? A series will disappoint you eventually.
Oh,
Halloween 3.
This is interesting.
Season of the Witch, famously. The Halloween,
spoilers.
The Halloween movie that came out in 1982 was met with a lot of upset when it was released, when it came out, because at that point, obviously, the first 2 movies had been about Michael Myers. The third movie,
obviously,
completely strayed from that plot and was doing a movie about spooky masks.
We're all frustrated about it to this day. So.
Yeah, people were really blue-balled on that one, and they were like, "Give us back me, Michael!" And then they did in the next one.
Big time. Me too.
A series will disappoint you eventually, and I guess sort of overarching to that, horror in general will disappoint you eventually. You will be burned by a killer cover, a poster, a small clip, even taken out of context and put on TikTok. I urge every person watching this, do not let the clips of the clown scene from Hell House LLC convince you that the film is worth your time. It isn't. It isn't. Save yourself. Watch the spooky clips on the YouTube or whatever and go, oh, that was spooky. And then never watch that fucking garbage piece of shit film that people seem to love so much for some reason. You know?
That got really specific. Kind of felt like it wasn't about Scream 3.
And that's my Nosferat. Thank you.
Yeah, mine is a normal one based on the segment concept. Mine is Sydney in the fake house based on her childhood home, reusing the bedroom cupboard door trick, and it doesn't work. The idea that in horror, and you see this a lot, the idea that the first time you have a solution, it works, and the second time it doesn't work. That to me is very, very, very indelible to horror, where it's like,
oh, okay.
Well, like it worked the first time, and then there's a fake out of like, well, oh shit, like, oh fuck, like there's a complacency it builds, and I like that in this film, it's like it's the same door thing, but because it's a set, it's not built properly. It's not actually built to last, and so the killer gets through.
And
Do
it's
you know what I mean?
fake, like the thin facade and veil of Hollywood. Hollywood.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right, James. Thank you so much for watching or listening to this episode of Survive the Fright. We love to have you. We're part of Weird But Wonderful. Go check out Weird But Wonderful everywhere you find podcasts, shows, YouTube. Go follow, support, like, subscribe. Give us a comment. Let us know what you thought of Scream 3. We'd love to know your thoughts and comments next week. We'll be back with episode 4.
Actually, I want to know what you thought of Scream 3, because this fucking movie sucks.
Someone likes this film. Someone likes this film, and I need to know why. Because for me, I found it interesting in like an obnoxious academic kind of way that you might have picked up across the length of this. But this film is like bad. I want to know what you think. I want to know what you think of what we talked about. I want to know what your Nosferat-Who is. What in this film is indelibly horror? Leave it in the comments. Give us a rating, a like on your podcast catcher of choice. Wow, this is just video. But go follow Weird But Wonderful everywhere. Subscribe, rate, comment. Thank you so much for watching and listening. We'll catch you next week for Scream 4. James, take us out with give me something.
Until then, you survive your fright. You know.
Terrible.
The horrors of the real world, dude, are often scarier than a lot of these, make-believe tales. You know?
And if you can do your best, between now and the next episode to survive the fright, we'll see you next week.
Leave comments in the comment section about how you'd survive the fright too, because I'd like to know. I'd like to know how people come at like different problems differently.
Right, but I think the issue is what happened is we had a natural landing point.
See you next week, everyone.